As a parent, I know parents are busy. That's why we've developed a Language Boosting Moments series. That's right, just one moment in your daily activities that can make enormous difference to your child's speech, language and learning skills. Hi, I'm Dr. Sandra McMahon, an experienced research and clinical child speech pathologist, and I'd like to welcome you to our Focus on Building Language Moments series. Today we're going to take just a moment in the home, and this moment is going to be the daily toothbrushing routine. Just one moment, not the whole toothbrushing routine. This has to be easy, quick and effective so you and your child can use this moment every day. It's this repetition that will bring optimum communication development for your child, the communication level you want for your child. The key for using these moments is to match your level of talking to your child's level of talking, whether they're using sounds, gestures, words, or beginning to develop sentences. Your speech model then grows in that same moment as your child's speech grows. So we keep the moment the same, but we build on the communication skills. So let's take the moment in the toothbrushing routine where we're actually putting the toothpaste on the toothbrush. Now we could quickly just slap it on and get the process going, but if we take a moment and get the child involved in the process, we can add language around it. Let's take, for example, the process where we, instead of squeezing it on, we actually just squeeze the toothpaste out just ever so slightly and get the child to dip, dip, dip. You might have to help them with their hand at first to help them do the dip, dip, dipping. That's a great, easy moment that we can build language around it. So let's look at 3 levels of communication development in children. The first level we're going to talk about is what we call foundation level. And this is where we need to build skills before speech, verbal communication might start developing. So if we take a look at that, first of all, we might need to encourage gestures. They might not be ready to say words. So the dip, dip, dip gesture might be the best thing that they can imitate. And that's great. That's the start. If your child is copying actions already and maybe making some general sounds, you can encourage more verbal production during the process. It doesn't have to be real words. It can be exclamations. You could say, "Oh, here it is," and "Aha, it's out, aha." And the children can just imitate or copy the "ooh" and the "ha-ha" each time. If you do the same noises every time you do the same movement, the children will get to know to use the sounds with you. If the children are saying lots of sounds and exclamations but just not saying words, the next little step is trying to encourage those sounds to be more like speech sounds or speech words. So something like going dip, 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 dip. The dip, dip, dip can be easier to copy than the whole word dip. And it's the start. It's the start of imitating speech sounds. If your child is saying some words, but they're not saying them very clearly, so perhaps they're calling it ip, 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 or dip, 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 so they're leaving off the first sound or the last sound, then your communication moment will be encouraging clearer speech. And we can do this by emphasizing the last sound. So you might go dip, 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 emphasizing the sound so they're encouraged to make that big fun popping sound at the end and get that final sound produced. If dip is already a word that they're using in their vocabulary, then use the moment to build their vocabulary. Vocabulary and later academic success is closely linked. So instead of using dip, we could do scoop, scoop, or scrape it, So we can use a different word that kind of still means the same. The other thing to do if they're already saying the single word such as dip, but maybe they're not using two-word phrases or sentences, then you can use the word dip and build on it. For example, you could go dip in, dip in. So they already have dip, so you emphasize the second word such as in, or you could do more dip, more dip. So you can see I'm putting the emphasis on the new word or the two parts of the phrase or the sentence. If your child's starting to use more advanced communication skills and growing their sentence to make them longer or more complex, you can still use a simple language moment such as this to continue that language growth. For example, say your child's already using a couple of two-word sentences or lots of two-word sentences such as dip in or I do it, then you can join those little sentences to make them bigger sentences. For example, you could go, I can dip it in. I do it. I can dip it in. Dip it in. So you're using the two little bits that they're using and you're demonstrating how to put them together to make longer sentences. Another way that we can encourage longer sentences or more advanced communication skills is by using very cleverly thought about questions in that moment. So you could get a routine of going, who squeezes? And the child can say, you do. And then you can say, who dips the toothbrush? And they can say, I dip it. In this way, you're using or encouraging pronouns such as you and I, things that children often make errors in. They often say, me do it. This is a great moment to work on little words like that that will encourage communication to blossom. Another way to encourage more advanced communication is to think about other things other than the toothbrush, toothpaste, and the action of squeezing or dipping. And that would be using such things as describing words. So you could do quick dip, or you could do big dip, or we could say lots of toothpaste on there, it's a large piece. So we're using lots of big describing words that maybe they're not particularly using at the moment. Look, it's wet and sticky. That would be another way to give more describing words to that moment. Is it sticky today? Oh, sticky toothpaste. So we're describing it. Another way would be to encourage the children to use negatives. So not on. Did we put it on? Not on. Do we need more toothpaste? Oh, look, we've got lots on. Do we need more toothpaste? No more. We don't need more toothpaste. So negative components in a sentence is a very important step in building language communication development. I hope we have shown you that you can take just a single moment in a very busy routine to build speech and language development in a very quick and easy way. Have a go. Pick a moment, toothbrushing, or maybe look at some of the other routines that you're doing. Pick a moment, work out what level your child's speech language is at, and provide an excellent model in that moment every time you do it. Have fun. Bye. The speech you actually then build around that moment will then depend on your child's level. If you're unsure of your child's communication level, take a look at our Parent Online program. You can download it and use it immediately. It's called Focus on Toddler Talk. It'll take you through online checklists and information slides that will let you observe your child's speech levels as well as the level of speech that you are using. And this way you can match your input to exactly what your child needs. And this is how speech and language grows.